Everyone. Back a bit early today, doing an extra stream to make up for last week, which I'll talk about momentarily. And I'll give some people some time to stroll in and let me see. I was trying to get my proper uh when do I want it to show showing, but there we go. Now it's showing. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Awesome. So things seems to change the settings a lot. So that seems to be right. Well, I'll get this thing figured out eventually. Depending on what I'm sharing, sometimes it doesn't quite show properly. At least the way I configured it beforehand, but I'll get it out. But as you can see, I'll talk a bit about the final experiment, which I thought came out pretty interesting. Um, Even notice, by the way, in my little uh, intro self thingy there, I added a fall 24 semester because I made honors in the fall recently. So that's pretty good. I'll actually show the grades for that momentarily. And see if I can increase this light a little bit. So the topic of this one is the final experiment in adding some solar data. I'm sure everybody's aware of the final experiment thing that happened not too long ago. I'll talk about that a bit. But first, what happened last week? So last week was finals, which was hectic, was stressful, but I actually did pretty well. These are the classes that I had in the fall semester, which just ended. Quantum one, classical, two research classes in classical electrodynamics. Did pretty well. It was actually my highest GPA semester yet. And as you can see at the top here, I got university honors for the second time, so that's why I added that there. So basically, whenever you get a GPA of over 3.5, you get university honors. So, and it shows up like on your transcript and everything. So it's pretty cool. So I have the opportunity to get it one more time. And I would probably have to say that, is my mouse showing? I don't think it is. Let me see if you can see the pin laser. There you go. So I believe that this class it's going to be between these two. I seem to understand classical dynamics really well. Actually, I finished that course a bit early because I don't know what it is. Classical dynamics just makes sense to me. Uh, Quantum, not so much. Definitely not my strongest subject. My second time taking the class, the first time I got a C. So this one is a B minus, so it was a lot better. Actually, it was a C plus, if I remember right. So I improved a bit. And classical electrodynamics, I really pulled this one out in the final. The final was several points and studied real hard for it and did really well. And so that pulled my grade up to an A minus. So that worked out. It was very stressful. And by the time the everything was over, uh, I was just so out. I forgot all about the stream. I was just like, man, I'm glad the semester's over. That was my last exam on that Saturday. So I was just spaced out. Like that is over. I figured I'd come here a bit earlier today, make up for last week's one, and do better in the future about making a note or something. Something like that happens, or maybe just next semester when they have finals, just postponing it that week. Hey, what's going on, Sean? Good to see you. It's been a while. Talk a little bit about my last semester. Why I missed the stream last Saturday. I was taking finals. I had a final on Friday, a final on Saturday. Did pretty well on both. Well enough to give me a decent grade. classical dynamics. I finished that early, so that was it. It was just, I wouldn't say it was easy for me, but I mean it was obviously easier than quantum and classical electric dynamics. And research was pretty straightforward. I like my research classes. Learned a lot of Python. Learned how to access images. If you look at one of my previous videos, I did a video about accessing I believe they call it the pillars of creation, this nebula. And I actually showed an image and it might even still be in my image stuff. Whenever I removed it, I don't know. So I'm still learning this share stuff, so I could have had it there. So I said he took the cheaper route. He majored in quantum eraser physics. Yeah, that guy's a. I talked to him once. This is back early on when I first started being aware of the Flutter people, and I used to visit the Discord channels more often than I do now. This is back when they were less apt to mute you. Now they just mute crazy, so I don't even go anymore. If I'm on the server and they mute me, I just stop going. But this was back in the day when it was less mute happy, and quantum eraser was on. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure that, because all these things are streamed. I'm pretty sure I have the video somewhere. I need to find that. I'm pretty sure I have it somewhere. It'd be interesting. But he was going all on about well, you know what? He was pulling the second law of thermodynamics, can't have an atmosphere stuff. And at the time, it was new to me, and I was literally just asking him questions about it, and he couldn't answer the most basic questions. And he actually shared a link, pretending that he understood what the link was, but his own link, Toon's laws, his own link was contradicting him. And it was clear he had no clue what he was talking about. And then in the end, I guess he was didn't want any more of my questions, and he just started over talking me. And I called that out. He was like, I don't agree with that I'm doing that or whatever. And I just left. I just left the chat. He said it was a very short class. Um, yeah, these people. I'm gonna focus more on science, on the science going forward, because it's becoming more and more pointless. I mean, they just lie and just change the answers back and forth. It's just pointless. But yeah, you're right. It's exactly like him. And he was talking so bold. I remember I asked him, because he was going off and on about, yeah, the macro state and the this and the that. And I asked, well, what's the macro state? He just made up something. Like he was fumbling with his words for a few little while. Then he finally just made up something. And I pulled up his own link. And I'm like, he was wrong. When I asked him, how did you even learn about second law of thermodynamics? Well, I learned it from school. From school. Okay. So the people you say wrong, you learned about it from them, but somehow you're right, even though you learned about it from them, but you're saying something different from them. It's craziness. But that's the way it is. But these are my grades for last semester. Again, sorry about last week. Next thing what I'll do is, by the way, the next time I have finals, I'll just cancel the session that week and say finals this week. Won't have a stream this week. That way nobody won't be looking for me. But I thought I'd still be able to make it. But yeah, it was rough. It was rough, man. But I did okay, as you can see. So it turned out all right. Um, Now what I'll do is go to YouTube. We'll talk about my topic for today, which is the final experiment, and I'll give him some kudos on that. Let me stop this share and bring up my YouTube page share. Is this the one? And by the way, I'm gonna talk about that image in a moment. Yeah, so I think I have it sharing properly. Good. So we'll go to that momentarily. So I finally found the real image that I like better. Because if you remember, I had this image up, which still there. Pretty sure I'll still show it sometimes because I still think it's cute. This image, I'm sure, is a CGI image. I reset it so it's situated a bit differently. But I'm pretty sure this is a CGI image. And uh, and actually, I'll resize it a bit right now, as a matter of fact. Make it a little bit wider. Boom. So I'm pretty sure that's a CGI image. I can't say for sure. I don't remember where I found it, but when I tried to find the actual image, it seems like it's just something that somebody made. But it looks really good, and it still matches my color scheme better than the real one. But I'm actually writing something, and I looked up an article to reference again, and this image was on the article. So this is a picture that was taken by an astronaut from space. And if you look at that, I mean, it looks awesome. And I think it looks better than the CGI one. Now the color doesn't match as well, right? I mean, you could look at that color scheme; it looks really right. So I think the color is not as precise, but man, I think that's gorgeous. So that'll probably be my default image now because I think that's just an awesome image. So, and I planned on keeping the CGI one to keep trolling the flirts, like I mentioned in that last debate I did. How I keep this one because when they say why you don't have a real picture, when I show a real one, they say it's fake anyway, and then when I show a CGI one, that's why you know it's just a bunch of just dishonesty or delusion or whatever. But you know, fighting them wasn't worth ignoring this beautiful picture. So should probably be my default one now because I think it's just awesome. And if you look at the cloud in the middle there, you could even see some of the detail. I think this is it's like an awesome picture. But going to the final experiment. Now the actually let me get to the actual video. Oh, let me get my. I just realized I didn't have my headset plugged in. Hold up here. In case I play some of it. But I remember saying on one stream, by the way, and to a certain extent, uh, I mean, it's still true, but I can see the benefit now. I had said something to the effect of others to, why don't they send like a scientist that's going to do actual science instead of sending people who, are ignorant and dishonest and so on and so forth, don't know what they're talking about. But I found myself checking out some of the videos, and for one, it pulled so much dirt out the woodworks. It was just so entertaining. just just seeing a fighter just try to uh, uh, avoid dealing with the reality of the fact that that there's a 24-hour sun that people can go to Antarctica. So it was just so entertaining, and also one of these videos I'll go to. And matter of fact, we'll just. But suffice it to say that I could see the benefit of it. Besides I mean, definitely if I was offered to go, I would go. I mean, it seems like a very fun trip. Um, but I see the benefit of going. And some people, it did get them out of flat Earth. Which one of these videos? And I won't go through every single video. I'll talk about a lot of them, but let me raise this boom a little bit. But this one right here is the final experiment necessary. That's actually where I started at. I was thinking, nah, we might as well just uh, ignore, send somebody who's going to actually respect being there in the first place. But again, I think it was actually pretty cool. One of the most interesting ones, by the way, and I looked at a few Greatest Sapiens ones.
Knew
He had
they
some
were
good
going to come here.
videos on it.
The question is,
But I believe it was this one.
All right, so listen up.
Where
State Farm was trying to charge me
you these.
$197 for car insurance. No, thank you. I got a friend who told me about this website, and now I'm spending $58
And let me know how the
a
volume
month.
is, by the
Full
way, if I
coverage.
should
That's saving
lower or raise the
$139.
screen or something.
So just in case.
So in this video here is midnight in Antarctica. Yeah, they're in Antarctica, and Will Duffy, I believe his name is. He had everybody come up and talk a little bit about their experience, being there and everything. And and in this video, we get journalism admitting that initially he was saying there was no 24-hour sun, but there is. And also, so this was journalism here saying, hey, you're wrong. Sometimes I was wrong. And then it was also Witted coming up and saying the same thing, that there is a 24-hour sun. He was wrong. So it was interesting to see them admit that. Darwinism was saying basically, well, you have to decide for yourself what that means. We know what it means. It means the Earth is a globe, right? But of course, I guess he's still not to the point where he's going to admit that. And the interesting thing about Witzig's admission is, if you recall my debate with him on modern day debate, I remember on that debate, I played a clip of him saying that the scientists, because they were off by a few miles, you remember there was that solar eclipse recently, and they had to adjust the width of the shadow so that some people had to move where they were to get the full eclipse. Like they said, it was going to be here or there, but it was a little bit like people who was on the edge had to move inward. It was like a mile or two thinner. The shadow was like a mile or two thinner than they thought it was going to be. And Richard was saying something to the effect of, "See, look, they got that wrong. We could just dismiss whatever they say. They don't know what they're talking about." When I calculated the percentage, it was like a fraction of a percent off. And he probably looked this up later, because it seemed like from our talk with Witsy, he just picks any random thing or just looks up any random thing just to pretend like he knows what he's talking about. But I know when he went on Matters Now, he mentioned how the size of the sun had to be adjusted. Now, in my debate with him, I challenged him to predict the next conjunction of Mars. He couldn't do it. And here he was wrong about the Antarctica sun. So according to his own logic, if they can be a fraction of a percent wrong, and we need to dismiss whatever they say, he's 100% wrong again and again. So if he was, had any kind of sincerity about his position, then he would just delete his channel and not pretend like he knows anymore. It's like he says we should disregard the scientists because they were a fraction of a percent off. So it is interesting to see the double standard that we know is always there for flat earthers, but we just see it. But it makes me less and less interested in sort of following these guys and pointing out their obvious contradictions and stuff, because it's just so obvious that I mean, what do the people do that follow them? Are they just stupid? They're just blinded by delusion? And so these are some of the videos that I saw. Now, an interesting thing about this video, this is a Witsit video, he's actually needing to defend. So basically in this video, he's talking to flat earthers who were apparently starting to accuse him of being the shield, accuse him of being bought out and all kind of stuff, accuse it all of being fake, a green screen. And Witsit is telling them it's insane. It's insane for y'all to say this is not real. And the interesting thing about that is that's exactly how they seem to us. Like when Witsit's saying the Earth is geocentric. It's amazing. But it's interesting being able to see the flat earthers being put on the side of having authentic knowledge, and then having to face the same delusion and skepticism that we face in them, right? The same delusion and skepticism and ignorance that we face when dealing with Witsit, when he's saying it's fake and we don't know what we're talking about, when it's just stuff that's established for centuries that our technology is based upon. And we're saying, dude, you're an idiot. We see the same response from him to his own followers, but now they're accusing him, "Oh, that's all fake." And he's like, "Dude, don't be an idiot. Don't. It's insane to say that." It's quite interesting. It's interesting to see. I got some good laughs out of this P-Brain guy.
Hair care routine.
He made several videos apparently debunking the entire affair, and of course it's just all nonsense, but it's pretty interesting to see. Oh, it's another good one that came up.
You'll ever need. It's personalized to your hair concerns, your life, and how you live it, and even your choice of fragrance. So while Brits
Hello.
Right, so here's another one saying it's all fake. So another good one. Interestingly enough, I didn't know Candace Owens was getting in on this. Apparently, Candace Owens has sent her like camera guy or somebody down to help film things and stuff like that. It's pretty interesting. So these are a few other videos. I didn't look at all of it. I didn't watch the whole video, a lot of them. I just looked at parts of them. But these are some of the ones I was looking at. Um, Another good one here, by the way. I think this is a beautiful clip. So this is actually, I guess this is 4K. I don't know what it is, but it's a longer than 24-hour clip. Like if you look at where it starts right here. So we're starting looking at this circular area here by that camera on the right, and we'll see it goes back to that area and goes a bit beyond that. So I guess it's like about 25 hours. I think somebody said it might be. So I mean that's an awesome video. And what you see is Slider, they're saying that's not the real sun. It's some kind of CGI or something, or somebody actually made a video saying, look how easy it is to put a fake sun somewhere. Somebody else is saying it's a reflection. It's, as they say, cope. But I think that's pretty cool. I wonder how high that is in the sky. And I'll get to a measurement I did later when I uh, added some data to the final experiment. So they're in Antarctica. They're on the edge. Look at that one more time. It already changed over. Hold up. Back to the previous video. Yeah, I think that's a nice clip. Think about the flash, how they're recorded and they're like sped up zooming in. And there's the original spot, and you can see it goes a little bit past the original spot. So it's like 25 hours of recording, something like that. So that's pretty cool. It's pretty neat. Now, the interesting thing is, I remember years ago I was talking on one of the Discord servers, and uh, they were talking about how why there's no video of the 24-hour sun, why there's no video. And I thought I had a video, but of course they find something wrong with it. Oh, look, there's a glitch or something. And I actually examined the video frame by frame. I couldn't really affirm or deny what they were saying. It was some kind of cut in the video or something. Suffice it to say, now here's one that and I guess I can't say they can't refute. This is one that meets the criteria that they wanted to see. But of course they just deny it anyway and say it's fake. But I think this is a testament to the delusion that is that ideology. So I thought this was a pretty good one. The grift is over. Oh, and actually, I was featured in this one, by the way. So this is a guy named Planet Peters, and apparently he's pretty popular.
Well, everyone,
and he's talking about the grift and what's going on. And when he's talking about a few of the debates, I noticed that my debate with Whitsitt was up in here when I was highlighting the fact that Whitsitt doesn't know math like he claims he does, right? And he's pointing to these advanced papers, pretending like he understands what they're talking about. But again, like I said earlier, it seems he just like we noticed the fact that this dude just does a word search and finds something and just pretends he knows what he's talking about, pretends that the paper matches his explanation when he doesn't really understand the math behind these equations. So you can't really know what he's talking about. But he just pretends to, and maybe he's so deluded that he really thinks he does. Maybe that's the narcissism at play. I don't know. But I thought it was pretty cool that my dressing down of him in his math was enough to be reviewed um, by Planet Peterson here. So that was very, very enjoyable to see. I made a comment on the video saying great vid, and so that was awesome. And what's another good one? I guess that's the main ones. Um, but yeah, I looked at these are some of the videos I looked at to get some entertainment out of the final experiment thing. I thought it was pretty cool. And so what I do now is let's look at some of the comments. Some of the comments I saw on some of the videos, and then I'll share how I added to the final experiment. So I'll share how I added some data to it. So let me share this again. So seems to be okay. It takes a while for this thing to catch up. I have to click off it, then click on it again. Getting better at these programs, slowly but surely. This slideshow. Leave this one. Let me see. Leave this one. Yep, there we go. And again, the window seems not so full, that big again. All right, there we go. So going through some of these videos is amusing looking at some of these comments. This Jonathan guy says, after 20 years of reading Sagan, I felt spiritual empowerment, finally learning something true about the sun and moon at 40 years old, thanks to Dubé. So I guess Dubé was saying how fake it was, and this guy's a 40-year-old guy saying he believes that stuff. And we could see some of the ways that they try to force it to be fake or something. Talking about the shadow size, of course, they just declare that things don't work the way they should be working, even though they have no calculations, no just them saying it is sufficient for them. It's similar to I saw a interview of an ex-flat earther recently, and the guy was saying how when he was in flat earth, their position was that just whatever they decide, the thoughts they had in their head was real. And you can see that happening. He really made that clear. That hey, what's going on, Lisa? Thanks for joining my Patreon. So I saw that you had joined when I sent the links for this vid. So I've just been talking about the grades I made. Sorry about last week. That was my finals week, and I was just so pooped after my last final that it just slipped my mind coming on till it was too late. So I think this semester and future semesters on finals week, I'm just going to just say, okay, no stream's going to be this week, so nobody's looking for me. But these are my grades that I had. Oh, hold up. What was it? Boom. So I did pretty well. That's what I ended up getting out of my classes. The one that I had on Saturday, by the way, the one that was stressing me out so much, the one that was had that Saturday was this electrodynamics one. So it was quite stressful. I had to do well because this is next week is going to be my last semester. I'm applying for grad school. So I was waiting to get my waiting to get these grades back so I can get my transcript and send it to my grad school application. So I was like sweating bullets. I don't think I've been so stressed in a while. But I did pretty well. So I ended up, but the professor thought when I went to offers hours one time, I thought I'd be to at least raise my grade to a B. if I did well in the final, but I did so well, I raised it to an A minus. So even beat her expectations. I beat mine as well. So I didn't think I would. I just did the best I could. I did a lot of studying. So, but this is the one that I took on Saturday. Electrodynamics, and that was I was like, oh my gosh, I was just zoned out. I was zoned out. So, yes, thanks. So I appreciate um the kudos, and one more semester, and hopefully I'll be in graduate school, and I'll look at a few of these comments, and then I'll go ahead and share how I added to the final experiment. So it's just interesting seeing all these comments about it being fake. Like, look at this guy. So there's a video of a 24-hour sun. There's also a video of people playing golf on the moon. There's videos of lots of stuff we knew isn't true. So now you can't trust video anymore. I remember there was a time when it was like, well, why there's no video? And one thing I was watching one of the P-Brain videos, and he was saying how it's fake. So I asked who P-Brain and everybody else, what does all of this, it's fake you're talking about mean about Jaren and Whitsitt being there and saying is real? Because again, Jaren and Whitsitt is, they have thousands of followers. They're some of the biggest flat earthers, right? Who knows? Bill says, did you ever love a girl and find out she is sleeping with your best friend? That never happened to me, but life can be like that. And Roman just outright says they were paid, not that hard. So as we can see, it doesn't matter who you are. If you contradict the narrative of flat earth, then you obviously assure you've been paid. Just like the gender ideology and critical race theory stuff, I know this is a correlation in the way these people think that believe the nonsense stuff. So, it also shows how what unprincipled they obviously hold themselves to be. If every time there's a flat earther, like there was Speak Truth, he came out, he was saying the same thing. They started calling him a shill. You are not a real flat earther. The interview I was mentioning earlier, they would say the same thing about him. Now they're saying Winston and Duran has been bought out. So apparently these flat earthers are not very principled people. If somebody could just come along and give them some money, and then they just start lying, just like they say NASA lies. So I mean, either way it goes, they lose. So they lose because they're saying, look, apparently all y'all can be bought out. So there's no point in anything you're doing anyway. I guess the quote truth is never going to come out. And also we see that these people, I guess they have to see it themselves. I guess that's the only thing gonna. But we saw that with Jaren and Whitsitt. Even after they saw it, they were still looking for some way. Like Jaren was saying, "Oh, you just got to think about it. You got to figure out what that means yourself. That there's a 24-hour sun." And Whitsitt was like, "Well, it still works." And I saw a model that works, and of course, we've seen him lie about having models and lie about other things. So we see the same game. So I guess it doesn't even matter if they see it themselves. I guess it just means that if they see it themselves and are honest about that one point, then everybody's going to call them a shield or whatever. And Lisa says, just coming over. Lisa says, damn, man, that is some serious hard work you put in. It's always worth it. Seriously impressive. Thanks. Yes, it was hard work. Lisa says, you're a PhD in my mind already. Well, thank you. So I'll get there eventually. That's the plan. So I'm gonna apply to several graduate schools. Hopefully, I get in, and I'll still be, I guess I'll be talking about some graduate stuff sometime on my other channel. Look at Jay says, wonder how much they got paid. So, but apparently, Jaren and Whitsitt, they could just get brought out so easily. And this took the cake, by the way. This is by DITRH. It is of my opinion that the founder of the experiment going to Antarctica was a stage psyop to deceive people, right? So a real organized operation run by the people that pulled off 9/11. I did research 9/11, and so my conclusion is that it was an inside job. We could talk about that another time if y'all like. Now, the thing about it is that when people who think the Earth is flat talks about that too, I can see how it can sort of you know what I mean? Uh, not put it in his right best light. Now, one interesting thing I saw, who Dusty, I believe his name is, posted this saying that journalism paid him back $40,000 for the trip. So apparently he paid for journalism to go. He told them, look, I'll pay for you to go and show you that there is a 24-hour sun, and our journalism paid him back. So that's pretty cool. Last one, if you look at the ceiling fan rotate, so it seems like people are trying to use some kind of opposite side thing to explain the different direction of rotation in the southern hemisphere. So currently they're saying you go above the stars now. It's crazy. Thanks, Lisa. Yes. After this last semester, I definitely feel more confident. That was my hardest semester yet. So these are all some challenging classes, and I did pretty well. So this semester is going to be hard too, but I was like, okay, I did the thing. Got honors again. That was my highest GPA semester yet, and also the hardest classes I took yet. So as I've been going, my GPA is steadily getting higher, or generally getting higher. Like it dips down, it goes up, dips down a little bit, goes up, dips down. But overall, I guess you should say, overall is getting higher over time. So yeah, I got to do well in grad school. Now, I thought this was interesting. Nick says it's funny you have to convince your audience that you are actually in Antarctica. This is when Witsit was trying to convince his followers that he's actually there and is not, CGI, and telling them it's insane for y'all to say this is fake. Which again is how we look at him when he says the Earth is geocentric and stuff like that. Lisa says, my CS professor always said, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. That's how we can achieve big results with one step at a time. Good point. You have to keep that in mind. So, I don't know where I go with the programs are different. Like some of them you start doing research right away. Sometimes you do a year of classes before you do research, but I have to always keep in mind that I'll have to do it all at once, taking one step at a time. It's awesome. So my contribution to the final experiment, I'm going to share measurements that I did to add to the thing. Now, what happened was I was looking at one of the videos that I had on my playlist there. It's a public playlist, by the way. If you want to see that playlist, that's pretty much the videos I was looking at over the last few days or week or whatever around the final experiment. So some of them are pretty interesting. But in one of those videos, Will Duffy, I believe his name is, said, hey, I need your help. I need you to measure the sun while we're out here in Antarctica and send us the details so that we can all correlate our measurements of the sun, its height, its placement, so we can further demonstrate, I guess, that they were actually in Antarctica, further demonstrate that the position of the sun only works with a globe and so forth. So I was like, okay, I could do that. So I went outside to take some pictures. So I just went out of my dorm. The top picture on the right here, let me get my little marker again, laser pointer. So I first started taking pictures of some of the buildings. You can see the angle of the shadow on the building from the roof of the next building. And almost direct picture of the sun. It was bright. And before I went outside, I took this from timeanddate.com. So this is on the 16th, the direction of the sun, the altitude of the sun. And I figured I would go get a picture. He asked for some pictures to turn in. But then I thought, man, I might as well try to measure the thing. But I realized I left all my measuring devices. You know, I have some high-tech measuring devices in my notebook and my cardboard box. Like I measured the circumference of the sun that time. But what I did this time, I got even more high-tech. What I did was I just found this little lens that had a shadow. And what I did was I just got a branch from the grass. I broke off a few pieces of it so it was more clean. And I used this as my ruler. So I took this branch and I'm going to measure the angle of the sun using the shadow from this ledge here. That's what I did. So I took that branch. I used a key to put a little scratch where the shadow ended up. I stood it up and got the tall. So basically I got the side and the adjacent, or the opposite and the adjacent, the sides. I took some string, which was some floss, and I took and got the length of the string. I just tied one in on one side, and then went ahead and saw where it went to the measuring point. Then took a ruler and measured the string to see what how long it was, and then I just solved the trigonometry, and this is what I sent in. So I sent in that I measured 34.67 degrees as the height of the sun. Timeanddate.com had about 32 degrees because I guess I forgot to put my second one, but I took one time and date image before I went out, and I took another one when I got back inside. So I took like the average in between them. So it was about 32 degrees, and mine was about 34.67. But of course, my devices were not, of course, really high tech. But I think that's pretty close between 32 and 34 degrees. We know the sun is around there somewhere, and I sent that in. So this is my contribution to the final experiments. Hopefully that helps. It just says hot and sky and sheep units only are allowed. So yeah, that was my contribution to that. So I thought that was cool. So in the end, and I'll go back to this very cool image by the astronaut from space. My favorite Earth picture now to put in my background. Yeah, so I think it was a worthwhile experiment. I mean, I was a bit like, this was probably send more word to people, but I'm pretty sure Will Duffy, he seems pretty, what's the word? Sympathetic to the flat earthers. He's very kind, which is inspirational. I could probably use being a bit more kind to him, I guess. Uh, uh, but he seemed like he was really trying to help him, and um, be able to see. And that's one reason why I do debates and stuff, by the way, just so I can throw in some evidence or throw in some logic and see how these people respond. It's just interesting from a psychological standpoint. Similar to how when I was debating with Flatzoid and is that other guy's name Alan, I believe, and I asked him to present the equations and calculations for this second law of thermodynamics claim, and all he can do is just repeat the dogma. All he could do is just do like he say we do, and just repeat what he's been told from a flat earth video or from a meme. That's all he could do is just repeat that over and over. Ask the same question about air exiting a container and declaring that what he says is true and no nothing approximating anything like a thermodynamics explanation at all. So it's interesting to see that stuff. So we was able to see that. But again, I don't think that was Will Duffy's intention. I think he was really trying to help him. And and by the way, I forgot to mention, yeah, at least it says every small contribution makes a difference. Yeah, so it does help. He did, and maybe I could find which video that was. Uh, see if I can find which video. Maybe I'll show that one a little bit. Yeah, it's this one right here. Let me show this really fast. So, uh, so I grab the right one. So I believe this is the window. It's not sharing. I was not sharing what I do. I can do something. There we go. So this video here, it says, and let me reposition it a bit so you can see the title. He says, TFB convinced me flat earth is wrong. Now I have a surprising request. But like I say, at least every contribution makes a difference because this guy, what happened is he was a big follower of, what is his name? The one who did the 200 proofs, Dubé, Eric Dubé. And, he was a big follower of Dubé. And when this thing happened, he went to the bay and was like, dude, you're on a list to go to Antarctica. You can go. You can go ahead and open this thing wide open and show that we're right and so on and so forth. And Dubé didn't want to go. He was like, nah, I don't see any point in going, and I don't, whatever. And this guy, he immediately recognized, oh my gosh, Dubé is a fraud, basically. I mean, why would he not want to go? Why would he make these excuses to go? And he went and unfollowed from his Patreon, and apparently that one thing showed him when he was able to see that Dubé didn't really want to get at the truth. Because, for instance, right now, Witsit can't deny it anymore. Jaron can't deny it. He can deny what the conclusion is. He can, Witsit can pretend like he has some model, or he could lie or delude himself that he saw some model that makes it work, and he can say that it can still be flat, and he's have to find another explanation. But what they can't do, at least not to themselves, even if they did lie to us, they can't deny that there's a 24-hour sun. They saw it. Right. So apparently DITRH didn't want to go, Dubé didn't want to go, and they let this guy know, wow, these guys don't really want to know. They don't really want to stand for truth. And by the way, I do have a Patreon, a paid Patreon if anybody wants to contribute. So I'll just throw that out there while we're talking about Patreon. But this guy unsigned from his Patreon and was like, I'm not going to be a follower anymore. And that's worked wow, right? You know, could I spend $40,000 to go there to make one flat earther wake up? I can't afford it, right? But if I was a multi-millionaire, right? Why not, right? So I thought that was pretty cool. So I mean, at least one person did wake up. It's not everybody, right? So one thing that this thing did motivate me to do is to start speaking more to the intelligent flat earthers, right? Because we so often, like all the screenshots I showed was of people that was denying and stuff like that. But I mean, you do have people that come out of it, like Speak Truth, Seek Truth, Speak Truth, and Raichi 00000, and a few others that come out that are intelligent people. Ranty, I saw him debate flat earthers after he got out, and he was, these dudes that's pretty sure he was just ignorant of real information and I guess just caught up in a delusion. Right, so there are some intelligent people that's just ignorant, basically. They just don't have the information and they just fall for the deceptions or the denials or the inaccuracies that these people spout. So I think I might start speaking more to those people that are actually intelligent, that can realize what's really going on. They just don't have the information, and maybe that'll make for brighter um, um, interactions as well. And by the way, thinking about that, I hope everybody was to let me know what things you would like to, like what debunks you would like to see. So let me go to my channel real fast and then I'll close this stream momentarily. And I'll come to the next one. But I mentioned on see here. So that one should still be showing properly. Let me close a window or two. That should be that. And let me adjust the window a bit. So here, so go here and let me know. You can reply right here and let me know what proofs you would like to see of the globe or what debunks. So I've been working on a flat earth book, like a book to talk about it, but I just find myself stopping because I just less and less willing to, because it was going to be like pointing out the inaccurate thinking and science of all the flat earthers, but it seems so distasteful to wasting my time finding these people's quotes and stuff. I mean, it's one thing finding quotes just to, like, when I found those quotes to debate Witsit, right? It's like just the day before I found some of the stuff he was saying, but actually spending time actually looking up the words of these ignorant people, I don't know. But what it's starting to be now is when I start just debunking the scientific claims that they make that are inaccurate and also providing proofs of the globe against science and math, that seems fun. And I've already finished like a few chapters of it. So let me know any proof you'd like to see of the globe or any major disproofs. Like I've already did the buildings leaning away. I wrote about that one the other day. And I'm going to end up doing the thermodynamics one, but I want to debate. I should be having a debate soon with Flatzoid on the thermodynamics one. So I tried to debate Witsit on gravity. I don't think he wants to debate me anymore after the last time, but I would like to get him, but not so much because that's when I was taking classical dynamics. Now I'm not taking that class anymore. I'm focusing on other stuff, so I'm not so motivated as much. I'm taking thermodynamics in the spring, so I want to focus on that. So I want to debate on that. So look forward to that coming up next year. And so I'm gonna write a chapter on that. But let me know any other thing you'd like to see me debunk that they claim, or an interesting proof for the globe. And maybe that's something I'll write about and make a video about. So awesome. Thank y'all for joining. I'll be back again at 8. So this is sort of my stream making up for last week's stream. So give me 5 minutes or so and I'll come back with this one. This one here, where I'll talk about the NASA pick device and the Lagrangian points. So we're going to get back to my regular sort of science discussion that I like to do at 8 o'clock. So come back about 5 minutes. I'll get started with that. And we'll hear about the Discover satellite and what Lagrangian points are. So I'll see y'all in about 5 or so minutes. Thank y'all. Good seeing y'all, Lisa and Sean. Everybody else who's watching, make sure to chat, like, subscribe if you haven't already. I have a Patreon. Be sure to subscribe. You can subscribe for free. You could also subscribe for monetarily. That would help a lot. And I'll see y'all in about 10 minutes.